Hello, ladies and gentlemen, wrestling fans all around the world. This is Salvador from Wrestle Vault, and right now, I am absolutely fired up. How could WWE let this happen again? Gunther, the man who calls himself the Ring General, walks back into the ring after disappearing for a while and just tears Dragon Lee apart in a match that was never close to fair. It was flat out a slaughter. Just picture it, a high-flying luchador with years of legend behind him getting stomped into the ground by this Austrian powerhouse while the referees just stood there and let it happen. If you love fairness in wrestling, this one will make your blood boil. Why does Gunther get to play judge and jury while someone like Dragon Lee gets thrown to the wolves? Stay right here because we are going deep into this madness, pulling back the curtain on what's really going on behind the scenes, and I'm going to share a shocking twist that could flip WWE's future upside down. Hit that like button if you're just as fired up as I am, drop a comment below telling me who you think Gunther goes after next, and share this video to get the word out, because if nobody speaks up, this will keep happening. Alright folks, let's break this whole thing down the way it deserves to be broken down. We're talking about Monday Night Raw, where the crowd was buzzing, the energy was through the roof, and then, just like that, Gunther shows up. But this wasn't just a return. This was a cold, calculated act of destruction sent to everyone in that locker room. Hello viewers, if you are new here, please don't forget to like and hit that subscribe button for daily updates on WWE Raw. Dragon Lee, the masked warrior from Mexico, a man known for flying through the air and striking like lightning, walked into that ring believing he had a real shot. And boy, was he wrong. Gunther didn't just beat him, he took him apart piece by piece, left him with nothing, and made it look easy. The worst part? The entire WWE universe sat there with their mouths open as one of their favorite guys got turned into a punching bag. This stopped feeling like wrestling a long time ago. It was closer to a public beating, and I'm disgusted that the people in charge let it go on that long. Let's rewind a little and set the stage, because this didn't just come out of nowhere. Gunther, whose real name is Walter Hahn, had been Intercontinental Champion for what felt like forever, over 600 days, breaking records that people thought would never fall. He turned the IC title from a stepping stone into a symbol of pure dominance. Then, out of nowhere, he was gone. People started talking. Was it an injury? Did he burn out? Was there trouble behind the scenes? WWE gave us nothing, just little video clips of him training in some dark gym, looking bigger and more dangerous than ever. Meanwhile, Dragon Lee was on the rise, wowing fans every single week with his flips, his dives, and that iconic mask that represents everything Lucha Libre stands for. He's the son of legends, the brother of stars like Rush, and he earned every bit of his spot through heart-stopping matches against names like Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio. So when Gunther's music hit, that heavy, marching beat, the arena exploded, but deep down, every one of us knew Dragon Lee was walking straight into danger. The bell rings, and from the very first second, it's clear this is no fair fight. Gunther stands over Dragon Lee like a building towers over a bicycle, 6'4" of pure muscle against Lee's quick and agile 5'9" frame. Gunther gets right to it with those brutal chops, the kind that crack through the arena like a thunderbolt. Smack, smack. Dragon Lee's chest goes red within seconds, like somebody held a torch to it. The crowd gasps. Some cheer for Gunther, but the real fans, people like you and me, were screaming for somebody to step in. Dragon tries to fight back, hitting a Hurricane Rana, spinning Gunther over and dropping him down. For just a second, there's a little glimmer of hope. Could this actually be the biggest upset of the year? But no. Gunther muscles his way out, catches Lee right out of the air, and drives him into the mat with a powerbomb that shakes the whole ring. Lee's body bounces like a toy, and Gunther doesn't slow down for a single second. He locks in a Boston Crab, twisting Lee's back until the man is crying out in pain. What makes this so infuriating is the way Gunther thinks out there. He's not just wrestling, he's playing games. He lets Dragon land a few shots here and there, a drop kick, a springboard arm drag, just to give him a tiny bit of hope, and then he rips it away with a lariat that nearly takes his head off. The referee keeps checking on Lee, asking if he wants to give up, but Dragon's pride keeps saying no. That's the luchador spirit right there. But Gunther, he's smiling, folks, grinning like the villain he is. And the crowd is split right down the middle, half chanting his name, the other half booing and demanding someone do something. That split crowd is what makes wrestling special, but it also shines a light on the real problem. Why does WWE keep booking these one-sided matches that bury the guys who are working their way up? Dragon Lee deserved so much better than this. As the match moves on, Gunther pushes things even further. He lifts Dragon Lee up for a suplex and just holds him there, upside down. 10 seconds, 15, 20, letting all the blood rush to Lee's head before dropping him like he weighs nothing. The sound when he hits the mat is awful.
Lee rolls to the edge of the ring, struggling to breathe, but Gunther reaches out and drags him back in by his mask. His mask, folks. That right there is a different kind of disrespect. In Mexican wrestling, the mask isn't just a costume. It means everything. It's history, it's identity, it's sacred. And Gunther grabbed it without a second thought. He's not just winning the match, he's trying to strip away everything that makes Dragon Lee who he is. Outrageous doesn't even cover it. Dragon somehow finds the strength to fire back with a flurry of kicks, wobbling Gunther for a moment, even landing a tornado DDT that plants him head first. He goes for the pin. 1, 2, kick out at 2.5. The whole arena comes alive. Is this the moment? But Gunther gets back up like nothing touched him, eyes burning, and hits his finisher, the last symphony powerbomb. Boom. Lee's down. 1, 2, 3. Gunther stands up with his belt held high while Dragon Lee lies on the mat, broken but not beaten in spirit. But here's where I bring my own angle to this story, something to really chew on. What if this comeback wasn't just about Dragon Lee at all? What if Gunther's time away was planned from the start, a way for WWE to build him into something untouchable before pointing him at a bigger target? Think about it. Word is going around that Gunther has his eye on the World Heavyweight Championship, and what happened to Dragon Lee was a message sent directly to Seth Rollins, Damian Priest, and every single person in that locker room. I'm coming, and nobody is stopping me. But underneath all of that, there's a real problem with how this was booked. Dragon Lee is a guy who has been grinding, loyal, giving everything he has on NXT and SmackDown, and they handed him to Gunther just to make Gunther look bigger. Is that right? Absolutely not. It's the kind of decision that makes real fans wonder if WWE actually cares about lifting new voices and giving fresh talent a real chance. Think about what it would have meant if Lee had pulled off the win, stunned the world, showed that Gunther isn't bulletproof. That would have been a moment people talked about for years. Instead, we got something that felt like it was written before anyone even laced their boots. Now let's talk about what happened after the bell, because the frustration doesn't end there. Gunther picks up the microphone, his Austrian accent cutting right through all the booing. I am the ring general, and no one stands in my way. The crowd's reaction says everything. There's respect for what he can do in that ring, but real anger at the attitude that comes with it. Behind the curtain, news started spreading fast. Dragon Lee was being looked at by the medical team, possibly dealing with cracked ribs from those chops. WWE's doctors surrounded him, and when Lee spoke up later, he said, "Gunther is a monster, but I'll be back." That's a man with real fire in him. But Gunther, he waved it all off in a promo, calling Lee just another victim in my reign. A victim? That's the word he used. This isn't sports entertainment anymore. It's something closer to gladiator sport, and someone needs to be held responsible. Where is Triple H? Why isn't he stepping up to protect the people on his roster? Time to hear from you folks. Stop the video right now and tell me in the comments, do you think Gunther's reign is good for WWE, or is it slowly holding back the next generation of stars? Drop your hottest opinions. I read each and every one. And if this has got you fired up the way it's got me fired up, hit that share button and bring your friends into the conversation. This is what we're building at Wrestle Vault, a real community where true fans talk, vent, and break it all down. Going deeper into what makes Gunther so effective and so maddening is that old-school approach he carries in a time when everyone else is flying through the air. He stays on the ground, wears you down, and hits you harder than you expect every single time. Against Dragon Lee, who needs speed and space to do his best work, it was like watching two completely different sports collide, old-school European toughness against the fast and beautiful art of lucha libre. Gunther took away everything Lee needed by keeping him flat on the mat, locking in holds that slowly drained the life out of him. It's intelligent wrestling, but when one guy is in control for 15 straight minutes, it starts to feel less like a match and more like a lesson. WWE, give us a real back and forth. Let's back all of this up with the numbers, because the numbers don't lie. Gunther's winning streak, still going strong since day one on the main roster. Dragon Lee's record against top-tier talent, decent, but sitting at 2-5 in the past year. This match ran 12 minutes and 47 seconds, with Gunther owning about 80% of everything that happened. Chops thrown by Gunther, 22. Chops landed by Leon Gunther, 0. Those numbers alone tell you everything you need to know about how lopsided this was. And the ratings? Raw's viewership jumped during this segment, which just proves that drama moves the needle, but at whose expense? Here's another angle worth thinking about. What if Dragon Lee's loss isn't the end of the story, but the beginning? He's been quietly building connections with the LWO, the Latin World Order. After the match, Rey Mysterio was spotted checking on him backstage. Could this be the start of something bigger? A united group of luchadors rising up against Gunther? A full faction war? That would completely change how we look at this moment. It would turn the outrage into excitement, the defeat into the first chapter. But if WWE doesn't follow through, it becomes just another story of a talented guy getting buried with no payoff. The production itself added to the whole feeling. Every grimace, every impact, every painful moment was captured up close and in full detail. Those slow-motion replays of the chops hitting? Uncomfortable to watch. Corey Graves on commentary building Gunther up is unbeatable, while Michael Cole sounded like a man watching a car crash. It's all written ahead of time, but somehow it still hits you in the gut. The reaction online? Massive. Twitter, or X, whatever we're calling it now, went off. The hashtag Justice for Dragon Lee was trending before the show even finished. People were split. Gunther is a bully on one side, he's the greatest on the other. And that's exactly why you need to stay until the end, because I've got a prediction about Gunther's next rivalry that could genuinely shake the whole foundation of WWE. Let's talk about how Gunther has changed. Before his time away, he was dominant but not untouchable. Those brutal matches with Sheamus and Drew McIntyre pushed him to his limits and beyond. Those were war stories. But this version that came back, he looks like a completely different machine, sharper, heavier, moving with even more intent. The transformation is hard